I'm Bethany with Be the Boss Dog Training, and today's video is on different types of dog training, specifically balanced dog training and pure positive dog training. Before we begin, don't forget to hit subscribe for more awesome videos like this one. Let's begin by talking about the different concepts of pure positive versus balanced. So pure positive, or force-free as it's normally called, means no corrections to the dog. This means that everything is positive, so you're adding something into the dog in order to get them to want to do a behavior. Pure positive and force-free has its place. It has become very popular in our society, and if you go online, you're going to be able to read a lot about it. Balanced training includes all of pure positive and all of force-free, but we add corrections into it as well. Balanced training means we use all four sides of the quadrant. We add things in and we take things away in order to get the dog's behavior to change and to get them to do specific behaviors for us. Let's talk about what pure positive looks like and if that's right for you and your dog. So pure positive uses a lot of food, it uses a lot of treats, it uses a lot of praise, and it uses a lot of stimulation to get the dog to do what you want them to do. So is this right for you and your dog? My first thought would be if your dog is struggling with stimulation, meaning if they are barking, if they are reactive, if they can't calm down, if they don't know how to greet guests politely, pure positive may add to the stimulation. However, if your dog is highly treat motivated and learns very quickly and you personally do not want to use corrections, then pure positive and force-free might be the way for you to go. So is balance training for you or not? Is it good for you or your dog or not? With balance training, we use everything that pure positive does. So we use food, we use treats, we use reward. And so any behavior that we want to encourage a relationship with, any behavior that we want the dog to get excited about, we absolutely use pure positive. We also add in corrections, so we add in negative consequences. And this is perfect for dogs who don't listen to treats, could care less about treats. Specifically, let me give you a specific example. If your dog is totally fine except when they see another dog or a squirrel or a cat or a child, and then they forget completely about the food, they forget completely about you, and they lunge and they bark and they get overexcited, balance training might be the way for you to go, simply because the dog is not interested, does not even care about the high value item that you have. The distraction is way more valuable to them than any food that you have on them. So introducing a negative consequence is going to be more value than almost anything else, and this might be the best way for you to go with your dog to get immediate results and to get it quickly. Let's talk about the philosophies behind each of these trainings. And I'm speaking purely from my experience. I'm speaking from my experience as a dog owner who searched out dog training and had problems of my own. And I'm speaking from my experience as a balance trainer who I deal with dogs that have flunked out of other programs and dogs that have advanced behavioral issues. So each dog trainer is going to give you their own opinion and their own experience. My experience particularly is one of dealing with advanced issues like dog attacks, aggression, dogs being put down, working in the rescue industry. So that is my background and my experience all the way up to easy peasy puppies. It's been my experience that the difference in the philosophies is in pure positive and force-free. The philosophy behind that is we don't want the dogs to experience any discomfort or any pain. And I absolutely agree with the intentions and the mentality of that. We are good people, we care about our dogs, we don't want to see them hurt. And the training philosophy behind balance training, the ultimate goal is to give the dog the best life possible to be able to handle as many situations as possible, no matter what is thrown at the dog. The philosophy behind balance training is that we use what the dogs would normally encounter in a normal, natural world, which includes discomfort, in order to teach clearly, quickly, and as humanely as possible. I think both of these philosophies both agree on the welfare of the dog. We want the dog to have a good life. We want them to be emotionally balanced. We want them to be able to handle anything that is thrown their way. And it both comes from a place of well-intentioned and loving our animals. And that's where both of these training philosophies overlap. Where these training philosophies differ and where you may see a lot of contention online is pure positive trainers do state that certain training tools are cruel and they are fear-based, and balanced trainers do state that it is not kind, and ultimately self-defeating to not allow the dog to experience what they would experience in their normal world, and to not be very clear with them, and to not teach them that yes is good and bad is negative. Let's talk about how effective are these different philosophies in treating aggressive behavior. Again, please note that I'm speaking from my experience. Both of these philosophies are amazing at counter-conditioning the dog. And what I mean by counter-conditioning the dog is taking a fearful dog and creating a confident dog. So getting them exposed, so exposure, socialization, and looking to you for guidance. So both of these philosophies are really good at that. My experience and where they differ is that dogs with aggression, and when I mean aggression, what I mean is treats fail you at some point, affection fails you, and positive fails you. And not only does it fail you, but it can accidentally reinforce the negative behavior. So my experience has been balanced training is more effective at dealing with aggressive behavior because we do add in an uncomfortable stimulus that gets the dog to stop and think before they act. So it's a stimulus that they will remember, and that is more valuable than food or treats or affection. Let's talk about the impact on the human-dog relationship with these training styles. So I'm going to dive right in here. We hear a lot that balanced training or correcting the dog is going to make the dog fearful of you or ruin your relationship. I have not seen that. And the devil is in the details. So it depends on what dog you have, what situation you're in, and what you're doing with the dog. But overall, I have seen dogs who get proper corrections learn to trust their humans. They learn to subdue their behavior and look to their humans for guidance, and they do it in a way that is quicker and very clear to the dog. As far as the human-dog relationship with Pure Positive, most of the time it's fantastic. You will increase your relationship with your dog. However, what I have personally seen is that the dog starts to see you as a vending machine and a treat dispenser, and it lacks the element of respect. And what I mean by that is think back to your grade school, high school, college professor, the one that you respected the most. And I can almost guarantee you it was never the professor that was easy and gave everybody treats and gave them all an A. It was always the professor that saw your potential and held you to a standard because he knew you could be better than you were. So I've noticed that Pure Positive philosophy lacks that respect issue. Depending on your dog and the relationship, that may be what you need with your dog. Let's talk about training time frame with these philosophies. Which one is going to get me the results faster and quicker that I need? My experience from what I do is balanced training will always get you faster results. And here's what I mean by that. Balanced training is very black and white. It is very clear when the dog shouldn't do something, and it is very clear when the dog should do something. So the dog is never left in limbo, there's no miscommunication, and the dog knows don't do that and do that. And the reason the training progresses faster is just because of communication. It's not necessarily that the training style is better, it is how you communicate with your dog. On the flip side with Pure Positive and Force Free, if you have the mental bandwidth and the time and the energy to dedicate to these repetitions and doing it over and over and over again, you can absolutely get the same results as long as you are dedicated and you have enough time. My experience dealing with average dog owners is they have jobs, responsibility, children, family, and they need to see results in a quick time frame. And specifically for people who come here about to give their dogs up or put them down, crying and very distressed, balanced training does give you the faster results. Now the last point I want to cover is the ethical considerations and animal welfare. And here's what we hear online. Certain tools, prong collars, remote collars, e-collars, these different types of tools are inhumane, they're fear-based, and they hurt dogs. First of all, I want to address by saying that the way we use them and the way that I have seen most people use them, that is incorrect. So the statement that tools are inhumane and hurt dogs, I would ask people define tool, because food is a tool, a collar is a tool, a leash is a tool, and I can't tell you the amount of times that I have seen aggressive dogs come into our program who have never had a prong collar, never had a remote collar, maybe even a harness. They've just been on a harness and they've been using food, and that dog is aggressive and has a bite record. So I would ask people define what you mean by tool, and then define in what circumstance you're using those tools. So any tools can be mismanaged. And so when it comes to the ethical consideration in animal welfare, number one is always, what do you want with your dog? If you're not comfortable using those tools and you decide those tools are not what you want to do, don't use those tools, right? Find a dog trainer that trains the way you want and just be diligent about doing what they ask you to do. My experience training easy peasy puppies all the way up to dogs with aggressive records from the shelter and who are about to be put down is all tools can be used in an ethical and humane way. And I would ask people to define humane and ethical. Here's what I mean by that. In the wider internet, when you hear ethical and humane, what we assume is no pain, no discomfort, and the dogs are always comfortable and experience love. I would challenge your thinking a little bit. My definition of ethical and humane is what is going to give the dog the best life possible, what is going to create a mentally healthy dog, a safe dog, and what method sees the potential in the dog and knows how to reach that potential. As a dog trainer, I never rule out any tool. So as a balanced dog trainer, I use every tool. I use collars and leashes and slip leads and food. I use prong collars and remote collars. I use all the tools, and it depends on the dog that I'm dealing with in front of me. It depends on what the owners want, and it depends on their specific situation. Hopefully this video helped you in some way or another. Please feel free to subscribe to us for more videos like this, and we will catch you on the next video.